Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at the Grade 3 Cumley Stakes at Aqueduct on Friday afternoon. It's carded as race number 9. It's the feature race on a really nice card that features 4 stakes races. You can bet it with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Cumley. We're going 1 1/8 miles, and that could really be the key to this race, Mike, because the number 4 Blamed, your morning line favorite, she's never gone this distance, but she's run very, very well at shorter trips.
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right about that. The whole deal with this race is, in a lot of ways, who do you think is going to get the distance better than anybody else? Because that's what it comes down to me. I guess Blamed has the requisite ability, it seems like anyway. She was obviously, better than the New Mexico set of 2- and 3-year-old fillies, that's for sure, just dominating those horses. I thought all in all, her first start for Vermont and first start off the left was okay last time. I mean, she had really easy speed, no match for Shamrock Rose, who did come back to win the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. I'm a little concerned about her going this far, Dan, but I recognize that she might be the horse to beat here.
And she also might be the horse to catch, Mike. As we see from the Timeform US pace projector, she brings sprint speed to the party, and Timeform US has her out there on the lead. I think she ran a little bit better than okay in the Raven Run, considering it was the long layoff, considering the Timeform US has those fractions color-coded red, and that Shamrock Rose did come back to pull off that huge upset in the Filly and Mare Sprint. But I'm with you. I'm a little bit concerned, even with this pedigree, to go 1 1/8 miles. I'm not sure I would want to take such a short price. And I think the same could be said for the number 8 Remedy in here. This horse is 3-1. She at least has routed her entire career. So perhaps Brad Cox is confident in her ability to stretch to 1 1/8 miles. Last time out in the Grade 3 Remington Park Oaks, she ran into She's a Julie, who we saw do some really good things over the summer for Steve Asmussen, and is going to start as an odds-on favorite on Wednesday evening in the Zia Park Oaks. Remedy showed good speed, was no match for She's a Julie, but she was very gritty to hold off a nice horse in Cosmic Burst for second, and that Remington Park Oaks has produced 3 next out winners. We'll see if she gets the trip.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that. I thought she ran fine in the Remington Park Oaks last time. Obviously, She's a Julie would probably be a big favorite if they ran her in this race. I don't know. To me, it was a race, though, that was a little tough to evaluate, only because it really held together up front. I mean, there was really no closing going on. So in a lot of ways, she just had one of the best trips in the race. Her win 2 starts back on dirt. Okay, I guess she ran fine in that race, too, just getting loose on the lead. She is not getting loose on the lead in this race. That stuff bothered me about a horse who's going to be a short price in this race, not that she can't win.
Albero Bello goes out for the Todd Pletcher barn. This is the number 6, and perhaps most importantly for Albero Bello, she has a win at 9 furlongs. That was at Saratoga over a sloppy track 2 starts back, and she was loose on the lead, a trip that's probably not available to her here. Last time out in the Remington Park Oaks, she kind of tried to mid-move, and I see your point if you're looking for horses trying to come from off the pace in the Remington Park Oaks, but boy, I didn't like the way she backed up.
I didn't like that either. She did get, a 3-wide trip in there, wider than just about everybody else. Tried to get into contention around the second turn, could not do it, and then just didn't finish at all. I thought that was a very disappointing performance from her. The race 2 back at Saratoga suggests that she's one of the horses to beat in here, but it was on a sloppy track. She got loose. It was a very weak field. I don't know. And the other thing that concerns me about her, Dennis, if you go back 3 back, her first start in New York, she did not run well in that race either. I don't know. She's a little too in and out, a little bit too many layoffs, a little bit too short a price. There are too many things I don't like about this horse.
Distance will not be an issue for the number 3 War Cabinet. The question is surface. She's only raced once on the main track in her career. It was her debut in France over a synthetic surface in a field full of first-time starters, and she ran 3rd at 7-10. You look at this pedigree, Mike, this is all turf. By Warfront, a full sister to a Group 1 winner in Australia, a 3/4 sister to U.S. Ranger, a multiple stakes winner in Europe, and a turf sire from the female family of Dynaformer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe just the fact that she wants to go this far will help her, and maybe the race will fall into her lap at the end of the day because nobody else wants to go this far, and there is plenty of pace, I think, in this race. I just don't see the pedigree for her, and it's not like she's run a particularly compelling race so far. I mean, her turf form just isn't that good.
While Split Time ran well at the 9 furlong distance 2 starts back in the Fleet Indian, just dropping a 4-5 horse photo finish that day, just not sure about the company in that race in the Fleet Indian. A bunch of New York bred, solid ones at that, but maybe not as good as the ones she's going to be facing on Friday. I thought she ran okay in the Empire Distaff. She is a rock solid horse. She's won 5 of 9. She's hard to knock. She's never off the board. I'm just not sure she's open stakes, graded stakes class.
I have the same concerns about her, but one thing you don't worry about with her is whether or not she'll show up and run her race. She will. Again, she's a horse who will be off the pace, and I feel like the race could set up okay for her. I think she'll run on at the end. I actually feel like she ran really well in the Empire Distaff last time. She had no chance to win it, but she was wide and she was racing on at the end. She's a horse. I don't love her here, Dan, but I'm using this horse.
She's a little slow on paper, Mike, the number 2, Hey Nikki, but I think she's got an outside chance in this race, and she's a horse I might want to tinker with underneath in single race exotics. She was the only 3-year-old in the field last time out in that Winter Melody Stakes at Delaware, and Bishop's Pond, while not a star, is tough when she's able to get to the lead, a tougher older horse, and that's exactly what happened. She went to the front, back down the pace. Hey Nikki couldn't get to her. The 4th place finisher came back to run a good second in the Pumpkin Pie at Belmont with an 81 Beyer. I think Hey Nikki, after pairing up those Beyer tops, is ready for a forward move.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like her Winter Melody is actually an okay performance considering Bishop's Pond was on the lead and loose in that race. And I actually feel like she ran well when they stretched her out 2 back for the first time. It was a sloppy track, and she got a perfect trip in that race. But she ran well and showed she can get a distance.
Stronger than ever, pulled off a 33-1 upset in the Silver Bullet Day way back in January, and then Ken McPeak just had a lot of problems getting her on a steady schedule. She now has 2 races off the long layoff, maybe is racing herself back into shape. She was one of those closers that might have been compromised by the race flow in the Remington Park Oaks. I don't know. If you give her some pace, I think she'll come running. I'm not sure how good she is, but I think this distance is okay.
I agree with all that. I mean, I think the distance is what maybe works to her advantage more than anything else. She's not that fast, but she's improved in her last 2 starts. I feel like the pace is going to be there for her, Dan. She doesn't have any speed. I hate her running style, but I think there's going to be some pace for her to run at in this race.
Let's take a look at our top picks, because, Mike, you have a really interesting alternative to the favorites. In the number 7, Indy Union, 6-1 on the morning line. Jeremiah Engelhardt's always thought a lot of this horse. Ran her in the Black-Eyed Susan, where she was 3rd over that very sloppy track. Ran her in the Midnight Bizou, Mother Goose. Last time out, 1.16 just a nice, comfortable win. I know Stay Fond is no star, but she came back to win her next race with an 86 Beyer. Tell me what you like about this horse.
I just felt like she was a viable alternative to some favorites who I just don't love in this race. I mean, and the other thing about this race, Dan, I feel like I don't worry about distance with her as much as I do with some other horses, and I really do feel like there's going to be pace in this race. We'll see how that all plays out, but there are plenty of horses who want to be forward in here, and she's going to be off the pace just as she was last time. That was more of a kind of a grinding finish, but she just kept staying on and she closed it down late. I'm hoping for a similar trip in this race.
Who else would you use in the multis? I know you bet Indy Union to win at 6-1 or greater.
Yeah, I'm going to use her. I'm also going to use Split Time because I think she's another horse that the race will set up well for. I'm going to use Blamed. I don't fully trust her, but maybe she's just the most talented horse in the race. I'll use that horse.
I want Javier Castellano to hustle Remedy out of there and sit off Blamed. Let Blamed make her own pace. Hope that the distance is too much for Blamed and ratchet it up turning into the stretch. And we'll see how good Remedy is. We'll probably find out how good that Remington Park Oaks is at the end of the day. But I want to give Remedy a chance. I think there is a chance. Maybe she drifts slightly off the 3-1 morning line. 8-4-1-5 for me in the Grade 3 Cumley. It's the feature race at Aqueduct on Friday. Bet it with a DRF Bets account. It's easy. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Immediately receive a 300% deposit match and approximate post time for the Cumley, 3:50 Eastern on Friday. Best of luck.